Hey everybody, this is Jesse here at Jesse Lee Strength and Fitness. Today I'm wrapping up my run number 15, which is the 5K program that I'm doing using the Garmin Connect app, and I'm following the Jeff Galloway program. Thank you so much for tuning in. The run times are beginning to progress. So kind of like in weightlifting, right? You're adding volume, you're adding load, those types of things. So the same thing can kind of go for a running program as you start smaller and you kind of work up over time as your fitness improves, as your body gets more used to the load that you're carrying. So previously, I believe I've at the 15-minute warm up for the last week or two. And I was doing my distance run. I'm doing two sets of drills. So on a Monday and a Wednesday, typically, and then Saturday is my longer run. And today was my longer run. It was a 15-minute warm up, a 1.5-mile run, and a 10-minute cool down. So the time is increasing. I spent a lot of time out there today. It was the most time, as you'll see when I reflect on these numbers. So on the warm up, I'm doing some walking and some running. So I did a 3-minute walk just to kind of, see how the body is feeling. I like to get out and just walk for a little bit just to make sure everything's feeling good. And then I did an 8-minute kind of light jog. And then I did a 4-minute walk just to prepare because I really wanted to be able to kind of give it my all on my 1.5. And on my 1.5 mile run, I was able to run without walking. It was hard though. It was very windy. And so I'd turn a corner and it would be windy. And so I just tried to go out and then come back on a tailwind, but it wasn't always successful. I was pretty happy with the time, although I felt a little bit lethargic. I think, Friday night we typically will go out for dinner or something like that. So I think the food prior to, just something to think about, obviously trying to eat health and fresh as you can as always, but when you go out, you can't always control all the ingredients. So, prior to a event, always try to eat maybe some fresh home cooked food. That might be more helpful. But that's all good. We enjoyed our dinner out. And then on my cool down, I did a 4-minute walk, a 4-minute light jog, and then a 2-minute walk on the way home. And that always feels good to walk in the door and be nice and cool down. So big time number increase. The total time out there was 36 minutes and 21 seconds. So that's, nearly 10 minutes longer than previous runs. The distance is 3.78. So I think my longest distance total was 2.79, I think. So man, wow, and almost another mile. So that's a pretty big jump. That seems like a little bit of a big jump, but that's okay. And then on my 1.5 miles, I ran that in about 11 minutes and 21 seconds, which comes out to be about a 7-minute and 34-second pace. So that's pretty good for me. It feels like I was working pretty hard, but I was able to maintain, really just working on my cadence and making sure that I wasn't overstriding. That was kind of the main concept, as well as just focus on my breathing, making sure that I was, kind of getting those ankles making my ankle movements more efficient, not overstriding, not trying to do too much, but just stay at an efficient clip with a decent stride. And that's always a goal as you go out and do these runs. I think of this as just practice. Each time is practice, practice, practice. What can I get a little bit better at? Test myself out a little bit on these longer runs. And that was really cool. So last workout, just as a comparison, I think it was only a 1-mile run. I'm not sure on whether it was a 15-minute warm-up or a 12-minute warm-up, but the last time I only covered 2.74 compared to 3.78. Total time was 27 minutes. So this was almost 36, or a little bit over 36. And then my pace for the mile was pretty good, so 7:31. So I would say I'm doing pretty good. The time was a lot more. I had a little bit more wind to deal with, but I think I'm moving along in a good way. I've landed on some in-season weightlifting, so largely doing some single leg movements in a small circuit with either a goblet squat or a high bar back squat that's lightweight, And then I'm doing some bench press. And then on the other day, I'm doing some conventional deadlifting in a 3, 3, or 3, 2, 1, 3, basically. So about 60% of my 1 rep max on my first set of 3, 70% on my set of 2, 80% on my set of 1, and then going back to the 60% for hitting a triple. And that seems to be pretty good. The deadlifting, I think there's a little bit of difference between my hips. So in a bilateral movement, you kind of got to be aware of the load that you carry on your hips a little bit differently. So I like the single leg movements during this kind of running season, but I still want to stay in touch with the deadlift so I can make sure the movement feels good. I'm still getting practice. So still making some tweaks in the lifting program, and then I'm doing some bench pressing and some overhead pressing with either single arm or 2 arms. So yeah, that's pretty much an update. I hope this all helps you. I hope you're getting something from it. Have a great day.